go into match number 3. We have ETC versus Firebat. This match is pretty important because with Firebat not really being able to make the playoffs, may have something else, which is not looking forward but behind. He may have a relegation spot that's hot behind him. But I think a lot of that has been fixed with Strifecrow losing to Purple today.
Yep.
So Firebat should be safe because Strifecrow at best can get 4 wins. Now, it goes the opposite way.
Is that mug really big, or is Firebat just really small?
Or Firebat's just really happy to see me.
I'd like to think that Firebat's just really small, and that's a normal size mug. At least that's probably what Firebat's trying to imagine right now.
Firebat's just like a Tinkerbell.
Look how small I am.
Hey, listen!
All right, let's get into it.
We're gonna start things off with a Priest Mirror. Priest Protect on both sides, Druid Band on both sides.
Whew, Dan, I was getting worried there for a couple matches. I thought something had gone wrong, but now I'm glad we're back to normal.
Well, the people that didn't protect Priest end up losing that series. Where Strifecrow protected Quest Shaman, lost that. Eddie protected Quest Druid, lost that.
Is someone injured?
Could be a trend. Firebat, I like this play. He's trying to not get blown out by health buff plus inner fire by playing Northshire Cleric and the Powerwood Shield with the coin. He has a Met in hand, so you might, be thinking, oh, well, he'd be closer to a Met. But this matchup entirely hinges upon having control over the board, and one of the most popular plays to punish when you're on turn 1 and have a 1-drop is to Beaming Sidekick, Powerwood Shield, and Inner...
Hey, I got you, friend.
I'm sorry.
2 hands for safety.
I know, that... if Firebat wins, we have to ask him where he got his mug.
I wonder if Firebat wants to utilize silence in this position whatsoever.
Firebat does have only 1 copy of silence in his deck. But
must consider.
In this matchup, it's not often good enough to quote-unquote save it for a rainy day, because sometimes the rainy days are just so rainy that you'll never escape from the rain for the rest of your life.
Or, if you can't escape the rain, you can collect all of it in that mug.
Yes, you could. So I think I just like the silence and getting on board as aggressively as possible. Makes sense to me.
I'm a fan.
So this seems like exactly what he wanted.
Yes, and I think that this sets up the Met really well.
Met into Psychopomp.
And I think it sets up the Psychopomp extremely well.
So this...
Oh, wants the Divine Spirit.
Oh.
He wants more mileage out of this. Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting this play.
No.
Because this challenges Psychopomp better? Is that why?
Yeah, but I think having an Ahmet guaranteed to live on an empty board going into a Psychopomp turn with an injured Blade Master in the pool.
Ahmet here seems really hard to pass up.
Oh, yeah.
I see a dark future.
The Beamy Sidekick is a massive pickup so that Firebat can keep his tempo up, threatening everything. He also has Bonsamdi, so that also probably was a big reason why he doesn't really feel super invested in his card draw right now.
Yeah.
ETC might be in big trouble right now.
Yeah.
Injured Tolvir is so annoying. Pyromancer Extra Arms helps clean up a little bit of it, but not much.
He can go Extra Arms Divine Spirit and just make this Northshire Cleric massive.
Yeah, he's pretty all in on the Cleric at this point then, right?
Yeah.
Like a single Topsy-Turvy destroys it.
Yeah, single Topsy-Turvy. Firebat's already used his only copy of Silence. But Firebat has a ton of counter pressure, and ETC doesn't really have a way to set up for a win because he needs to deal 30 with both Divine Spirits gone.
Yeah,
there's no way he has enough mana to buff the health up enough, heal it enough, especially since Firebat's just going to trade into this. He realizes that he has a massive board position. It's very unlikely that ETC can chew through it. And then with both Divine Spirits gone, Firebat just needs to keep the board in check, and eventually he'll find the tools of his own to swap a high health minion and be able to kill him. So. All right, so that picks up a Northshire Cleric, and that's it. That Bwansamdi.
So ATC can clear off a couple of these minions with Wild Pyromancer, more arms, and Inner Fire. Doesn't seem very good. I think in his mind, he's probably gonna have to just play for tempo. I'm looking at things like Double Injured Blademaster, but it's really easy for Firebat to get the trades. He knows the one drops like Beaming Psychic were picked up.
I think he just needs to set up for a massive Wild Pyromancer next turn. Hold on to more arms. Maybe just play Acolyte of Pain and Injured Blademaster this turn. Try and like chain together some Power Word Shields with extra arms next turn to clean up the board. He needs a big swing turn, and I just don't think this is what that is.
Yeah, like I said, it's an ACDC. Looks like he didn't even get the attack off. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Ah, we've seen this too many times over the course of the season. You gotta play faster.
Well played. You have best.
Game 1 over to Firebat.
Yeah. Very methodical approach from Firebat.
Firebat draws the other Holy Wrath. Now he has a 1 in 3 chance of landing onto the Shirvali.
If he took to his last turn, he has to take it this turn.
Nope, he drew a timeout.
Yep. So now
he might have to. Does he have to go for like a Zephyrus shuffle a Zephyrus play?
Well,
I don't know. He's gonna try to go for it again. Gets 25
cards.
But now has no Holy Wrath left, so he needs to find a way to get 17 damage from 2 Zephyrus. You could just say it's as easy as 2 Pyroblasts. But over the course of the next 2 turns, ETC is going to gain 4.
Let me
at the very least.
Yeah, I don't think it's a Pyroblast. I think it's Tyrion.
And then there's the second weapons project that he has to worry about.
Tyrion also is still a 6/6.
It is.
Oh, 2 more just getting in the way. Ziliax can also just get back into this game here.
I think I want to maximize healing and play Snip Snap alongside the Ziliax.
I like it.
Gain the 7 and then gain the extra 2. I mean, he could do it both ways. Ziliax.
Unity, precision, perfection.
Yep, it's good to me. Again, with Firebat having Shrink Ray and Equality in the hand, I wonder if he would just kind of use that aggressively. Because he also had life, right? He could just kind of wait to get to that point.
This is my suggestion.
And if he goes for Tyrion here, then he can't banker.
He's going to have to banker.
Yeah, but he has to banker. So.
Yeah, and he's hoping that he doesn't have AoE clear of any kind.
Stash that away.
Well played.
Yeah, I think Firebat looks like he's close to tapping out, ends up conceding. Either way, we're going to game number 3 now. Now we can see a matchup that Firebat has even declared is Paladin favored, right? He likes this matchup from the Paladin's perspective, and he's one of the first people showing us what you need to do. Things
have changed since the time that he did say that. That was before the Americas had really adopted the Bwansamdi deck that Hunrace made popular. It was also, you know, before the Paladin deck went through some changes and kind of became, you know, like a standard list developed. Firebat has even changed that and gone with the list that Eddie's been playing quite frequently, which is the Solid's Pride version with Blessing of Wisdom, the super aggressive draw version. You do have more early game minions to be able to play that can help contest, but you do have less kind of on-demand removal. Not too much less, because you still have 1 quality, 1 Shrink Ray, but you have like 1 less True Silver Champion, 1 less Consecration, 1 less Prismatic Lens. But overall, I think it's not that big of a deal. I think it doesn't affect the matchup that often. It's all about whether or not you can find those big removals on time. And Subdue is a big one, because it comes down early and allows you to stop the Priest from snowballing, which I think is important.
this extra arms, no matter what, gets killed by the True Silver Champion, and that's exactly what Firebat's banking on. Even had that subdue like you're mentioning. True Silver Champion seems pretty good. ETC's card draw shut down from the very get-go, hoping that he can secure tempo and get card draw later on. That being said, Psychopomp is ready to go, and it would revive that Cleric.
The end begins.
However, the follow-up with the Consecration is devastating. Elven Archer is good enough. Even Wild Pyromancer and Flash of Light, really good here. Just Firebat having the answers, ETC shut down, and with all spells and one minion, things are already looking bad for the Priest.
Yeah. There's a lot of things to discuss with what the game looks like if you try and hold on to Northshire Cleric and protect it, but the way ETC's hand was panning out, there was no guarantee that trying to hold on to it and protect it would net a good result, because he didn't have Tolvir or Blade Master or Circle Healing. And he did have a Psycho Pump, so it's like, yeah, I want to prioritize getting minions on the board and stop my opponent from, you know, dealing, from playing minions at risk of letting me draw in cards. Crystology has a Novice Engineer.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Firebat and how he can try to get maximum clear. It seems like Pyromancer can't find a way to clear guaranteed.
He can just Elven Archer the Northshire.
Yeah, he could subdue in that position, but I don't think you want to.
Yeah.
Subdue, I think, would clear everything.
I hope you like my invention.
The Elven Arch. Shooting down the Northshire Cleric. I wonder if the Firebat also wants to use his Blessing of Wisdom in this spot.
Could end up being wasted if ETC just decides to not attack with it, and then you trade into it next turn, but...
Yeah, this is a bad spot here for ETC.
Yeah.
He needs to maximize his board tempo. The way I feel like you win this matchup is to pressure super fast and force him to have timeouts, not by just necessarily drawing cards. So I agree with like the early game line from ETC, which is like, well, I try to maximize my board pressure, but it doesn't seem to line up really well if they have that early game True Silver Champion. But more importantly, like, what does ETC do now? If he just plays cleanup, he's playing exactly into Firebat's hands, just to give him time and utilize these 1/1s as taunt minions.
He can Topsy, Morearms, Divine Spirit.
If he Topsies, Morearms, and never set Ritualist, that's maximum tempo, I guess.
Life is enough.
Yeah, that's about as good as it gets, which is not very good.
Pretty awful play, like in a sense of just the quality, rather, not necessarily that ETC's play was bad. I think that's the best he can do for the tempo.
I hope you like my invention.
Mind if I roll need?
I think Firebat is not afraid of
The
anything.
light bends to light.
Yeah, there's just no way he could die right now. Double Divine
He
Spirit.
can. Power Word Shield, double Divine Spirit, Inner Fire.
Huh, yeah. It would be exactly a 4-card combo.
4-card combo. Seems like Firebat has a pretty easy opportunity to use Consecration in this spot.
Yeah. He
In
could.
fact, I kind of like him to use Blessing of Wisdom in this spot too to draw another card.
So he could subdue the Psychopomp, Consecration, trade in the Elven Archer to the Neverset Ritualist, Blessing of Wisdom, the Novice Engineer, which would be the only minion left on board, and attack face.
Yeah.
If that's what he wants to do, he could Blessing of Wisdom first on the Novice Engineer and attack face, and then he still has a board clear available to him, even post. It's whether or not he feels like he has the ability to part ways with the Subdue onto not super valuable of a minion with the 3/4 Psychopomp.
Right.
That's the biggest minion ETC has in play right now.
I think Firebat sees the quality in Consecration and feels like it's more valuable to hold on to that. I personally like Blessing of Wisdom. I think it's perfectly fine. Firebat opting to Shrink Ray.
Reporting for duty.
Wansamdi is the best card here for ETC. Does not find it. Wild Pyromancer.
He could Divine Spirit the Neverset Ritualist to keep it alive and push 1.
When this deck fails, it fails spectacularly, TJ.
Yes, it does. only copy of Silence, so Firebat doesn't have to worry about taking this injured Blademaster off the board because there's no way for ETC to really capitalize on it still being there. I mean, this is unbelievable that Firebat just hasn't had to do anything. He just has had to hero power each turn. Essentially, I mean, he's floated more than 10 mana over the past 2 turns. And he's still at 30 and still not under any threat of dying. It's pretty unbelievable. There's some card draw. Something for Firebat to fill his mana with.
Reporting for duty.
Wansomni's still a potentially impactful card here. ETC picks up Beaming Sidekick.
Hey, I got you,
Was
friend.
there a way for ETC to chain some draws and do a win there?
Is there a Powered Shield left? There is. Powered Shield,
There's
Beaming
2.
Sidekick, Divine Spirit, Airfire.
He would have to Circle of Healing there, so it'd be Powered Shield, Powered Shield.
Well, there's only one shield in the deck. Zephyrus is active now for Firebat.
Oh, yeah, there's only one
Probably
shield.
going to offer him Tyrion, like, Shadowward Pain.
What's the punish for
Your
Tyrion?
wish is my suggestion.
Oh, Shadow Priest, why?
Defender of Argus always makes its way
Put
into
your
this.
faith in the light.
And how often do you get this luxury, Dan?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So that'll pick up a Northshire Cleric.
Yeah.
You follow the light.
Is someone injured?
Yeah, this is a lot of cards.
Yeah, I mean, he did give him a lot of time, but at this point, I just don't think it's possible.
Right, because the timeout and the Ashbringer.
Yeah, he
And
only
the
needs one
Shabala.
combo. He's got 2 timeouts. He's got a quality consecration, so he's got a board clear.
My hand is too full.
So Firebat can clear this, and then he guarantees kill the following turn. Or can he kill it this turn? Because he can shuffle in Shrivala and Holy Wrath if he just draws with Holy Wrath this turn and timeout, I think. Definitely want a timeout here. I think you just Holy Wrath the face so you get the card draw, and then
It's guaranteed next turn.
it's guaranteed next turn.
Yeah.
I think Firebat's just mapping it out.
Yep. Just trying to double check that to make sure that he has that guarantee over a few turns. Yep. That'll make Shrivala cost 0, and all the boxes will be checked for a fully loaded combo.
I must move quickly. Well played.
Yep, and ETC recognizes
You have been.
nothing he can do in this spot. And that's going to do it. The only way Firebat lost is if timeout again for like the last 2 cards. But even then, he was guaranteed with the
He was
Holy Wrath.
guaranteed. And takes a sip from his giant
Victories.
mug.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. How's it going?
It's going all right, not too bad. So let's talk a little bit about going into this week. I guess we chatted a little bit on Omnistone yesterday. But for the people who didn't hear it, what were your thoughts heading into this week's of games?
I mean, my thought was a little bit nerves because I kind of had to win. I either had to win or Purple had to win. And I didn't want, even if Purple won, I didn't want it to be that I don't get relegated just because Purple won for me, kind of. I feel like I'd owe him one. And I didn't want that on my shoulders. I want to prove that I'm here because I'm me, not because, someone else loses more, but because I actually win, So, yeah, I didn't want to not get relegated just because Strife Crow lost the most. I wanted to not get relegated because I won. So it was really tense and really nerve-wracking, but...
Yeah, no handouts, right?
That's
what we
exactly.
Got it. Let's talk a little bit about the games a little bit here. So game number 2, the Paladin versus the Warrior. You went for a pretty early Shrivala Hail Mary attempt. Can you talk a little bit about why you felt like that was the turn you needed to go for it? Because, very clearly, Zephyrus not being active was a big thorn in your side for a while.
Yeah, I really wanted to play Tyrion for the last 5 turns, but my Crystologies were a little late. So the Christology didn't draw. My second Christology drew 0, and my Lion only drew 1. So I was in a spot where I was actually not completing the Paladin goal in time. Like, I wasn't doing the 50 very quickly at all. I was going to have 3 turns where I sat there and did nothing, where he got to press the armor up button. So he would get to 51 naturally that way. And he had only played 2 mana gain 6, so he has another 2 mana gain 6. He has 2 3 mana gain 5s, and he has 9 mana gain 7. And he has the ability to put large mechs that are going to force me to clear to stop Ziliax from coming down, because I know he has a 5/4 Ziliax. So I was like, all right, there's no way I ever naturally win the game by just going through and drawing the deck normally. So I was like, we got 25% here to maybe force him to have to do something weird, like play a Brawl to kill my Shivala, which would allow me to potentially play Tyrion on the following turn still. And, you know, if I get 25 damage on top of that, maybe I could just win. So I went for the 25% chance. Even it's less than 25% because I also need to get the ability to get the Zephyrs active to win from that spot. But overall, I think it was just like a really crummy spot, and my choices were either lose 100% of the time or win 15, 20% of the time. So I go for my odds to get the 15, 20%. Didn't get there. Not too sad about it because I know coming into the next match, my Paladin's got 2 slightly favorables.
Yeah, you were kind of talking about it. It makes sense, too, given that I think, TJ's pointing it out. He also just drew a bunch of cards, so he could have easily gotten more into it, so that the window got closed. Funny enough, he didn't have any of that life gain. He just had minions, so I think it would have been a really funny way it panned out.
He had the Ziliax, but I mean, if you're 25 and him 2 turns in a row and then dropping a Pyroblast maybe the turn after that, or a Lightning Bolt to finish it.
The Ziliax just beats me in that scenario, though. He goes to 51, I 25 him, he heals with the Ziliax while clearing my thing, and I'm dead. I couldn't even beat just the Ziliax, which we knew he had because of the Town Criers, so... Yeah, I still think it's correct just to go for it, even if he has no armor gain cards, and the odds of him having no armor gain cards right there is absurd with how many he had left. I can't believe he got such a high armor total without playing any. He really played the matchup quite well.
Yeah. I was a little bit on the fence, but hearing your thoughts, I think I'm sold on that. So nicely done. Last game, really cool that you're able to follow up, because we were talking about at the beginning of the season, you were one of the first people talking about how you felt like this matchup was good for the Paladin. And it seemed like you followed up through. I did want to ask a little bit. Do you find it kind of funny that other people are playing Highlander Warrior, and then this is the week you're not even bringing Warrior whatsoever?
I don't think it's that funny. I think it actually makes sense. Warrior is got the lowest win rate in Grandmasters right now. Control Warrior, pretty much. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the lowest. One of the lowest win rate classes. It's definitely the lowest win rate of the deck that's brought the most, I would say. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because Warrior is like a powerful class on ladder. It's a powerful class in the game. It's like, well, if Control Warrior is not the ticket, let's try and explore some other options during the last week here to see if maybe there's something that really works. So I think a lot of people are really searching for a way to utilize the class, because I think the class is well positioned. It's just maybe the format's not lending to it nicely enough, or something's going on. I think the Priest versus Warrior matchup has been getting closer and closer as the season's gone on. And due to the fact that that gap's been closing, Control Warrior becomes less and less appealing. So people are searching for a replacement. I didn't bring it because I feel like the deck is kind of weak. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe Highlander Warrior is the way to do it. Eddie, I saw before my game started, got a win with it. But, I don't know, in testing, Highlander Warrior seemed awfully sketchy. So,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Where'd you get your mug?
My mug? My girlfriend's aunt gave this to me for Christmas. It has branding on it. I've been trying to hide the branding. So, am I allowed to say the company where it's from?
Probably not.
All right, well, I can
be
direct
safe.
message you it later.
Yes.
But,
or just tweet it out. I don't know.
Sure.
But I'm
I got in
curious.
trouble for the ears before, so I gotta be careful with what I show on the stream.
Yeah.
You know what, Firebat?
Just play in the empty white box next time, please.
Blizzarders are such sticklers, man.
Fine. For reference, OTK Paladin at a 47% win rate and Warrior below 40%. So the OTK Paladin seems much better positioned. And, of course, it was specifically targeting other decks as well, which is partially why. Either way, Firebat, congrats on the victory. We'll see you later this weekend for your match against Strife Pro.
Thank you. Seems like he takes 20.
We have 8 burst behind this after he clears my entire board. So if he leaves a 4/4 up, he's dead.